Thank you, Angela. As usual, you are a incredible support and host for us this evening. Hi, everyone. As Angela said, my name is Tom Webster. I'm from Black Squirrel, and welcome to our first real estate event, the Rebirth of S.L.I.C.K. We have an incredible time in store for you this evening. But first, again, I want to give special thanks to the Science Center and the Venture Café team for hosting us to do this event here. And also too, in collaboration with my incredible national partner, the Inclusive Capital Collective, represented today by Naja Yasmin Daniels, an incredible organization that's helping Black Squirrel really figure out how to really drive impact in terms of coming up with innovative models for serving in the marginalized communities, especially in our Black and Brown neighborhoods. Tonight's event is going to be an exciting event. And what we want to be able to do is have you offer the opportunity to not only engage with us and ask questions. There's going to be a survey at the end of each session. We please want you to fill that out, especially if you're seeking follow-up information on anything that is shared this evening, copies of the video, or information on any of our presenters. At this point, I'd like to toss the mic to my co-host, Naja, and let her talk about this whole vision we've created for you for this event.
Hi, everyone. Greetings. My name is Naja Yasmin Daniels. My pronouns are she, ella. I am the proud community manager of the Inclusive Capital Collective. My experience in advocacy, organizing, and power building on the local, state, and national level has led me here with you all here today. I want to start off by thanking you for welcoming me into your community. As someone who grew up in the New York State foster care system, and someone who has to navigate foster care systems and various systems throughout my life, it's important to acknowledge and welcome those who welcome me into their community. The Inclusive Capital Collective is a growing network of community fund managers and entrepreneur support organizations who have been designing and deploying shared technical and financial infrastructure for advocating and deploying financial capital and other resources to entrepreneurs and communities of color throughout the United States. Our purpose is to overcome systemic racism through equity, access to capital, as well as shifting power. The ICC, our capital innovators, are exploring alternative ways of capital and making sure that equitable ownership and models are structured throughout the United States to make sure that we mobilize a range of philanthropic and private capital. The work that we are doing here was not only done because of what's happening with COVID-19 and the various racial reckonings and killings that are happening throughout the country, but these are methods and mechanisms that have been happening in our communities for decades and centuries. It's a part of our history. So I welcome you all here today to join us for the Rebirth of S.L.I.C.K, and I invite you to hear a little bit more about how this event was created. So a part of my personal self-care is music therapy. It's something I've learned throughout my journey of life. And it's something that I've really admired and picked up from my adoptive parents who unfortunately are no longer with me today. With that being said, when I'm doing my work, I tend to play my power playlist. And when I'm thinking of the various members or clients that I serve, when I clicked play on the Diggable Planet's Rebirth of S.L.I.C.K, I started dodging my head and nodding and really feeling it. And it made me think of the work and all the innovations that my real estate circle within the ICC is doing. And I was like, oh shoot, this is a thing. But how am I going to break down S.L.I.C.K to my members in a way that they can grasp it and understand related to the work that they do every day? Not only in the collective cooperative model with the ICC, but when they're outside of community and I'm not there. So I took it a step further and broke it down like this. S is for systems, which is a set of principles or procedures according to which something is done, an organizing framework or method. The Inclusive Capital Collective, which is currently being incubated under Zebras Unite, is showing different ways of how systems and communities can work together and how we can rebuild or rebirth them in a way that's equitable, not only for Black and Brown communities, but for everyone. Language, the principal method of human communication, consisting of words used in structured, conventional way and conveyed by speech, writing, or a gesture. At the Inclusive Capital Collective, we're always exploring different ways of how we use our language to meet people where they are. We're constantly playing and exploring different ways of learning and unlearning the definition of words and what they mean, and making sure that people are able to see where we're coming from with our framework, rooted in race, gender, and class. Which takes us to intersectionality, the interconnected nature of social categories such as race, class, and gender as they apply to a given individual or group, regarding and creating overlapping and interdependent systems of discrimination or disadvantage. We're making sure that we're using intersectionality not to divide us and make sure that we're in silos, but to bring us together as a collective. And capital, wealth in a form of money or other assets, which the ICC is constantly exploring each and every day, and how that looks, whether it's character-based lending, various innovation products, or making sure that we show up in a way where our members have technical support and assistance. And knowledge, the fact or condition of knowing something with familiarity or gained through experience, education, or association. How we like to break that down in the Inclusive Capital Collective is lived, learned, and labored experience. All of that is welcomed. When it comes to knowledge, we're not only a think tank and one of the emerging thought leaders in this space, but we also use knowledge as a way to explore emotional intelligence and what it actually means to show up and do this work. We are able to combine both movement, capital, strategy, and culture in a way that is celebrated and explored. I am so excited and thrilled to be here with you all today. I want to echo what Tom was saying and thanking you for joining us, and I will pass the mic back to Tom. Thank you.
Naja, thank you for that great overview. One of the things I have to say that for things to happen effectively, you have to be able to create partnerships. And Black Squirrel has a unique partnership with some dynamic individuals out of the Philadelphia market, who many of you attending today probably know or have know of. My co-founders for Black Squirrel include Jim Burnett from Vested In, one of Philly's leading CDFIs, Kevin Williams, one of the leading entrepreneurship institute programs at Drexel University, who's been a game changer in the market in terms of sales consulting, and been a dynamic leader. And Jabari Jones, who is a young dynamic brother up and coming today in the world of Philadelphia's community engagement, especially along the business corridors. Together, we form Black Squirrel to become a nexus for information, for resource, for access, for knowledge, for support. And with that, we've been collaborating with ICC since its founding. And together we have been a part of this dynamic story, which you'll hear more about through our first published study, which we call a Black paper, which we have a dynamic discussion, recognizing several projects and models that are happening and being driven by innovative thought in other parts of the country. So without further ado, again, a reminder, we have a survey that we're going to post in the chat. I believe so, Angela?
Yes.
Yeah, so please, we really want you to complete that survey. It's just a few questions. Information, data is important in everything we do today, and it helps drive decision-making as well as policy, which is really about where we're looking to move to.